and then they just open up the map. Pobelter came onto the squad at the start of the season. They were able to play around that mid and have him be the rock that when they showed up to team fights, even if they had a deficit, Pobelter could take the game back from a loss and be able to carry them out. Last few weeks, pretty much ever since the double lift hand injury, they've gone 0-4 in the last 2 weeks. And the recovery stages from that, it just seems like the team is in danger of falling apart completely. Whereas NME, they have stress on them as well. This is pretty much a game of stress. NME at the bottom looking for playoff spots, and CLG looking to stay away from that bottom because they went from first place and they are in 5th right now.
Hopefully pushing the mentality game to the side in that sense. All those psychological effects that weigh you down, like we said, it causes a lot of stress, and then they can just focus on the game here for both teams, really looking to climb. The end of the split came very fast. Hopefully the victories come for them now. Bans are targeted, specifically mid lane ADC. Get the Alistar out as well from NME, so they want to make sure those power picks do not go to those members.
This is a lot of power pick bans.
Yeah, especially from CLG's side.
At this point, pretty much Nautilus is one of the only power picks really left up that you can flex effectively as a good first pick. You don't really have to worry about which jungler you want to take. There was top lane Nautilus as well. Yeah, there you go, from NME eSports.
Yep.
So that's for flares or body drop. Yeah, when you look at power picks, there's pretty much these 6. You swap out the Twisted Fate for the Nautilus, and those are the 6 champions that people are always fighting over for first pick worthy. There are powerful champions like Ezreal, like Azir, but those aren't really first pick worthy because you want them countered. So the power picks are the ones you want to pick first. And all of them, but Nautilus, were banned this game.
Tristana picked up here for double lift as well as the Kragus. Maybe want to drop turrets a little bit quicker with that Trist pick up. If they get their swaps in, we'll see if CLG tries to control the early game. They already have 2 pretty good picks here.
This is his first Tristana game of the split.
Looking at that.
He played a few Jinx games where they had to protect him, but now he's on a more self-sufficient AD carry. You're not going to have that Shen running up through your team and taunting you. Shoutouts to Bunny Fufu. But now he's more self-sufficient. He can jump away. He has the ability to escape by himself. But he also is able to destroy turrets and be a bit of a mid-game carry as well as a little bit of a bullying lane phase.
He just wants it. The Ezreal gets picked up already. Could still be Otters. We've actually seen Dignitas do something to that liking as well and give the Ezreal over. The power of it right now, I feel like NX wants that in his hands, though. Yeah,
they banned the Twisted Fate, so there's not that hard counter mid lane. And the reason Twisted Fate is so good against Ezreal is because when you play Ezreal mid with Smite, you don't take Cleanse, and cleansing a gold card is something you always want against Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
So the fact that they ban that away, it makes the Ezreal a relatively safe pick, but you can still pick the Maokai for Zion Spartan. You can still get these other power picks that point-and-click lock people down.
Wonder if Ahri still fits into that mix for Pobelter. I don't know to be too much of an Ahri player, but we did see what Xiao did against Ezreal. It's actually Inox's Ezreal on that Ahri previously, and he pushed him out of lane, solo killed on it. Could be the Orianna, however, coming in. Also, pretty common pick against Ezreal if you see it around solo queue. And the Janna also picked up by Aftermath.
Yeah, it's just a really good farm lane. Orianna is one of the best people to shove in early waves. And that's what Ezreal struggles at, is when he doesn't have the Runeglaive, sitting in his turret, last hitting, missing some CS, and if you keep the pressure on him like we saw Phoenix do, you're going to get his turret fairly early, and then you open up the rest of the map to actually just wrap around and get your own turrets on the outside as well.
More Janna play as well. You're going to get 2 games in a row here of that after not seeing her for quite some time. Seems to be suiting these Gragas Janna compositions. People are liking it. A lot of push around, a lot of dispersing the enemy team if they want to, and it actually got them into a lot of safe positions. Talking about Team Liquid last game, we'll see if Chronologic Gaming can do the same with their results, or provide the same results, I should say.
Curious to see what Otter goes for.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a Jinx.
Well, right away we know if that's going to be in the mid lane.
Go for poke, and there you go. Okay. Very magic damage-centric team here from NME. Majority of Corki's damage is magic. Majority of AP Ezreal, pretty much magic damage across the board for them.
You could say that.
Yeah. So this is a very easy team to itemize against. We saw itemization from Dominate last game with the Frozen Heart against the Vayne and the single target, or in the single threat elimination on both of the 2 carries. So this game, you pretty much have to build 1 resistance, which is a problem. I was thinking a Jinx would come through. I was thinking a hyper carry for them. But it looks like Otter's going with some early pressure up against the Tristana.
Minus Shen, this is the exact same composition that NME was actually looking to run against Impulse, minus that Shen and Gragas. They had the Corki, the Ez, and the Braum. So it's something they've worked with before and just kind of tanky top.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can run it well. Seeing that Fizz picked up for Zion Spartan in the top lane, however, not something we've seen for a little bit here in the North American LCS. In other regions, yes. But I've actually been kind of thinking Zion Spartan, back in the day, was a guy who would carry the game as well. He's been on a lot of tanks. Yeah, the Rumble can still provide that objective carry, but more so on the Fizz.
And that was one of the big things when Zion Spartan was brought on to CLG. It was finally CLG has a top lane carry threat.
Right.
Somebody who can pull that type of pressure and disperse it and actually just create opportunities on the map. NME, though.
When's the last time you saw Zion Spartan beating on an inhibitor by himself, right? Split pushing the team.
It's been a little bit of a while.
Times have changed.
CLG's looking to go back to some old school stuff, but also top lane Fizz is hard to execute on. There's a reason we don't see it very often in NA, because everybody's all about these death balls, and it's very important when you have a Fizz to have vision control behind them. TP flank, it's all about the flanks when you have that Fizz. You need backline access, because if he makes it to that Ezreal, he can eliminate that Ezreal very quickly, but he has to be able to execute on that play pattern.
Well, we'll see if they have what it takes to get the victory. As we load onto the Rift, send us your vote for this game. Tweet hashtag NME win or hashtag CLG win to @LOL eSports. NME picking up a win over TDK on week 6. Counter Logic Gaming. It was Liquid, TSM, Gravity, and Impulse to give them their last 4 losses. Will NME be the one that they can get the victory over to stop that bleeding, stop that slide? We're going to be getting into the game 2 here of week 7, and we're on the Rift. It's NME versus Counter Logic Gaming.
Counter Logic Gaming lost to 3 teams above them. The only one they didn't lose to that's above them is Dignitas, and then they lost to Team Liquid, or sorry, TIP, who's right next to them in the standings. NME is the team right below them in the standings. If CLG is going to stop their slide down to the bottom of the standings, this is where they stop it against NME. Give themselves that buffer, and also the 2-game tiebreaker if NME does make a surge and CLG stays in the same place. This game is extremely important for CLG. Oh, tag.
All right, Playful Trickster first. Not a problem.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Work out. So NME getting the wards they want deep. But same thing for Counter Logic Gaming here. So Ignite for Pole Belter in mid on his Orianna. Feeling pretty confident about that. Usually seen Ori take a defensive spell.
Yeah, up against the Ezreal, he's really the one on the back foot all lane phase.
For sure.
So you get to take that offensive summoner.
Kill pressure coming from that if they can get some good ganks on, and his flash down. CLG is actually going to hang out in the jungle a little bit longer than usual, kind of mirroring the same thing NME's doing here, looking for at least an early pick, or maybe a late ward to come in. Oh.
They saw after move. The jig is up.
Floating around out of the fog of war, ruining everything. So Reds for Reds. What would be the optimal move you would like to see here, Zareen, from the junglers?
Junglers are pretty much just going to do their routes. It's not a lane swap at all, so you're not going to be seeing those turret dives. So at this point, you farm up the Raptors, you go back to your own jungle and you take some camps there. You get your blue buff, and then you look for an opportunity. Like right now, Trashy, he has different opportunities to him. You can go gank middle if you want. You can go to the enemy jungle and just pick that up. It's completely fine. But he's still not at that level 3 just yet, so it's much harder to execute on.
So Trashy, the 1 wins 3 loss here on his Rek'Sai stats. Trying to do what he can to put another win in that left column.
It was one of his best champions in Challenger as well. People were banning away his Rek'Sai consistently, forcing him onto other champions like Gragas. But
what made him so aggressive? Was it his invading, or just straight up?
It was his ganking. Him and Inox had really good synergy in the Challenger series. That when he went back for visas at the start of the season, it seems like they never recaptured that. But according to Inox, the team has been looking better, and they have been looking like they're more synergized over time.
It's like, from Inox's words, feel like we're coming together a little bit more as well. Hopefully the victories show that in the play today as well. Good shots, a nice block on that Monsoon. That would have been a few more hits onto Otter, which really would have cost a lot of room in the lane. They keep it safe for now, trading a little bit back onto Alpha. But Otter definitely not liking the fact that he lost that HP. He holds on to his potion for now. We'll see if those ganks actually come from Trashy towards the mid lane. Not too hard to gank an Orianna, especially when your mid laner can close the gap very easily along with you.
Yeah, but the gank assistance from an Ezreal is one of the lowest in the game. Oh, don't have anything that's going to help him out.
Right.
So it'd pretty much have to be a big misposition by Pobelter and Trashy having the opportune or the best possible knockup.
Already trying to get a few hits onto the turret. Yeah, gotta watch that. Passive.
Body drop in Otter. Body drop, before when he was shielding, he walked back into Otter. He didn't even block the Monsoon. He didn't block the auto attack from, or the Howling Gale.
Howling Gale. Right.
Howling Gale.
I think I said Monsoon.
Yeah, you're messing me up, Riff.
so tough.
Yeah,
it's okay. We only have to remember a few ability names.
That's, yeah. They take damage from this. But body drop, please.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? You walk towards the double lift, or you walk towards the tower. Which one's going to give you damage? So body drop should just stay off the bottom side of the turret.
Well, he also, right after that, he popped up his shield, his E, and he's like, oh, I'm going to block these incoming shots. He could have popped his E, took a couple steps forward, and then walked back to the turret. But he's taken a lot of explosions from that.
Yeah, he's actually already out of his biscuits. 3 biscuits for Aframu. He can still share. 5 minutes on the clock, and the turret's looking like the health bars of NME right now. They're taking the same amount of just kind of tit-for-tat damage every time they approach the turret. There's been no answer here. Are you going to make Trashy accountable for something? Or you have to pull his pressure down to the bottom lane.
Tristana puts you in a very tricky situation.
Yeah.
Like you said, the turret becomes this unsafe zone. Body drop usually likes to play to the bottom side of it so that he can hit around the minions and actually get his Qs.
Right, you can circumvent. Good way.
But he's not able to do that. So what I'm seeing here is Body Drop's tendencies as a player to hang out on that side of the turret, but they're being abused by Double of just throwing it onto the turret. Because then if it doesn't become safety, the explosive charge ends up hurting Body Drop way more than he's hurting the enemy. And you can see that just in potion count here. Looking for the stun, not going to get it. Trashy clear ward though.
At least they're trying. They know they're still behind, but they have to put pressure on that lane to even get back into it. Only 6 CS right now. Hopefully that HP being low does not result in a kill for Smithy if he's decided to go to the bottom side of the map. The enemy staying safe. CLG actually trying to push pretty hard here in the early game. Finally got a 2v2 to match up. We'll see. A little bit of action.
Yeah, and it looked like Trashy wanted to gank that bottom lane, but as soon as you reveal yourself on one side of the map, you get counter-jungled on the other. So goodbye Smithy to take whatever camps he can to deny some experience and some gold from Trashy. Because we saw in the previous game dominate his farm. Getting the scuttles is so important, and there's 500 gold lead for CLG already. And looks like it's going to be a top lane visit here. Flares doesn't have his ward up.
All right.
There's the level 6. Ooh.
Immediate 6s. Flares. Actually, Smithy doesn't want any of that. In mid lane here, Trashy's gone from the bot lane to the mid lane. That could be the gank. Like you said, Zyrene, not that much follow-up, though, and not enough follow-up to get the kill.
And Pobelter, good control there. Doesn't blow any summoner spells.
Right. He knew it, too.
Yeah, doesn't even blow his ultimate. He knew that Inox didn't really have enough mana in the tank to actually take him out. He saw Trashy blow his smite actually afterwards, instead of blowing it at the start of the tank.
Considering whoops, we might not have enough.
Yeah, exactly. You think that it's going to be more, you're going to do more damage, but nope. He is going Warriors Enchant too. Trashy gave a lot of credit to Reignover's build on Rek'Sai. You go into the Warrior Enchant, but sometimes afterwards you go into a Hex Drinker.
Oh boy.
So you have even more damage.
Oh
Body drops, he needs to jump out
of
there.
Body drop, somebody get him. All right, teamwork. Nice. For a second, I thought everybody was just going to leave Body Drop, but he's good to go.
Yeah, he had Flash as well, so he had ways out of that fight. Didn't want to blow it, though. Conservation of his summoner spells.
Oh, glad he did. The team is there to help. You can see previous matchup and stats between these two guys and how their average first dragons go. Enemy has been one to focus dragon quite a bit.
That's a huge explosion radius. Body Drop was on that caster minion line, and he still took damage from it.
Oh, man. Well,
that's a dead turret.
We figured the turrets would go down pretty quick. 8 minutes for the first one in the bot lane. Zion Spartan actually getting it taken to him in the top lane here by Flares. He gets very, very close.
He's in turret.
What? Okay. Maybe just thinking Zion Spartan didn't really have enough to go for it. He's got Ignite, though. Did he not notice that kill pressure?
You have to think about the Ignite at all times.
All right.
So right now, the aggression from Flair is not looking like the best thing. He had his ultimate available, but he didn't have the mana for it at the time. And they're also thinking this Corki pick may not have been the best pick. It's going to help stack magic damage for the Ezreal, but at the same time, it's getting bullied by this Tristana, which I believe was picked before it. So,
yeah,
you're losing your turret, you're losing your lane,
right.
Bot lane. 2-on-2. There's no jungle pressure in that bot lane. Smithy hasn't been bottom. That was just a flat-out 2-on-2 slow destruction of the turret.
That was a first pick priority. The Gragas and the Tristana for double lift. And they're using it immediately, making sure the map is theirs and getting more coverage as soon as they can. Already about a 2,000 gold lead here, pressure just out of that. And just like the gold lead in their favor, the vote as well coming from social media. Looking at 10 minutes here, a few more outer turrets could be dropped and just continue to snowball that CLG lead. Not really a way we've seen them get the early lead in the game. Like we said, it's always Aframu going around. They're trying to get the win out of lane here. See how they transition this into the mid.
Trashy looking top, but Flair's just going to shove the wave up. There is a ward. He's about to walk over, so that's going to call Smithy to the top lane. And here comes the support roam, too. Body drop. As soon as your turret goes down, there's really no reason for you to stick around in that lane. So start roaming, start applying pressure off of the back, and then people will be caught off guard, especially in solo queue, where they're just like, why is the support here? Just randomly in the lane.
Running around. Actually, no, not even boots for him yet, so you really wouldn't expect that. You're going to see Braum flying through a different lane at this point. Still looking to even build up that sight stone, but he does get a ward towards that top side that actually causes...
No!
Oh,
he dodged it.
Those are some skills there. Every time, I fear.
Funny story, I actually hadn't seen it since its release, but I remember before, he used to crush the Poro.
No!
The Poro, I think it may have not had the dodge animation just yet, but he would jump on the Poro and just... You're like, where'd it go? He crushed it!
That's pretty sinister.
But he's a protector of animals, so it makes way more sense.
And a crusher of double lifts.
He's just being playful.
Trying to crush the double lift. Didn't work. That's a BF sword, however, to a Sheen. I'm not sure they really want to approach that fight at this point anyways. There's the fish once again.
Smithy's here too.
Smithy just on the back. Whoop. Bops them back and forth. They say here's one for the other. Slowly going to take Flares down here, and I don't see any movement on the rest of the map. This is just a slow one. They're going to walk it out, hold hands as they go across the beach. And they're going to be able to take him down. Zion Spartan 2-0 now on that Fizz in the top lane, starting to take control.
And you were talking about it. When was the last time we saw Zion Spartan really just taking over a game?
Right. Absolutely.
We're about to see it here. Pobelter, he still has all his summoner spells. Ooh, no knock up there from Trashy either.
That's close. Just on the edge. Pobelter having the shield on as well. Could have flashed out in a grave situation. Top lane.
Gonna clear the wave.
No. Getting them out of there. Inox trying to assist the side lanes now as they start to fall apart a little bit against Counter Logic Gaming's early composition. Seems like picks and bans as well went a lot better for them. I think seeing Inox's pick so early definitely gave them an edge. That was a confident pick.
Yeah, it gave you the opportunity. I'm always very hesitant about blue side Ezreal, mid lane Ezreal picks, especially when the other team shows that they have something like a Gragas, displacement, any type of jungler at this point.
You're not going really where you want to go.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is really the one jungler that I always feel miserable playing into an AP Ezreal. I'm even okay with a Nunu into AP Ezreal. You just stack magic resistance, absorb all the Qs. Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm totally fine with that.
Mark it down. Oh, 2.6, 2.5 thousand. Favor of CLG. Mainly coming out of that top lane for Zion Spartan. A bit of farm here in favor of double lift and the mid lane. And Smithy has a bit of CS in his favor that's keeping them on the up and up.
Trashy looking down bottom. He walks straight through a pink ward in that brush. They know that Trashy's there. Ezreal ultimate's coming by. It's looking for double lift. Hits him. And he's got to back off.
Well, this is by the book here for NME. We already saw in their stats they're a team that's grabbed two aspects of the dragon. They're a team that loves dragons. 30 seconds, already setting up deep wards, maybe trying to get some pressure on this bottom lane, some damage on the champions. I don't know if they're going to get everything they want. A bit on the turret, maybe making CLG back here in the end.
Yeah, dragon's up in 10 seconds.
Stick with it though.
Doublelift was able to back.
He's got the move down from Inox.
Maybe they'll find this pink ward this time.
Dun, dun.
All right, there they go. Yeah, Trashy walked straight through that when he first came to the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He placed his other ward.
denied.
No gold coming out, so Alphamu placed his other pink ward, denying the death of the Tri-Brush ward. And those deep wards and pressure on the turret actually did not give NME what they wanted. This next Dragon
Ezreal's gonna
goes
try to
over to
ulti
CLG. Inox! No! Cigar will not happen. A good smite coming from Smithy on that.
His smite is more powerful too. Ezreal really wanted to be a man. He could have just arcane shifted in there, smited it, flashed out. Do it. Next time, do it.
Happened back in the day. Shift in, smite, flash out. That's how you do it.
I'm always distressed when a laner has a bigger smite than me as a jungler.
Sounds like a personal issue.
It is. I always hate it. That's why I'm so against smite laners.
Hey, man.
I get to be the peel. I don't get to smite it and get the objective.
As a support, I don't feel your pain. I'm sorry.
Well, one day supports will be taking smite. I remember challenging smite. People were like, it's so good. It's like an exhaust and an ignite. Support should be taking this.
Hey.
It's like, oh god, no.
Who knows?
Don't do it, Riv.
Put gold generation on that item and you got yourself another item. 15 minutes off the clock.
There is gold generation on it. When you kill a monster,
There you
get more gold.
That's true. You're not a liar. It's going to happen now. Oh, man. So, 2.6 in. Not even getting closed here for the gold lead, but that means CLG also isn't trying to push this gold lead. A dragon did fall in their favor. It's not going to be any gold. There's some stats for gold.
Yeah.
But they need to start pressuring the map a little bit. Seems like they would have had these outer turrets a little sooner.
Yeah, and you can see Doublelift immediately swapped up to the top lane. This is just a demolition comp here. Doublelift, he's looking for these turrets.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Whew. Look at him just standing up in front. He can see where Trashy is. There's no other threat after Body Drop uses that Winter's Bite. And Doublelift correctly knows that what his zone is and continues to deliver to the DPS, tries to get that explosive shot down, be able to get a little bit more damage on the turret constantly, even if he can't add the stacks.
The Trinity Force Fizz looking for kills. He's hunting. Is Pobelter going to be able to cut him off? Oh, he tagged him with the fish!
Uh-oh, chum in the waters. That means he gets the magic resist debuff.
Flares
That's going to sting a little bit. Depth charge goes out over the wall. Playful Trickster. Yeah, he made it. Oh, he misses the drudge line.
No.
He's not going to get a cooldown on it. He won't pass go. Do not collect $200.
Well, Zion collected $200.
Yeah, that's true. He did. Absolutely.
Oh, looking
Turn him
for the
upside
knockups.
down, shaking out the lunch money. Looks like they want to do it the same in the top lane. Zion's bar with the TP in, coming from the kill in the bot. Could he get a coast-to-coast double? And he does. Almost a triple, but that's picked up by Xmithy. And they're on to that next turret, finally. Still the mid lane. Just Inox and Pobelter hanging out.
The way this composition is going to be able to work out on CLG's side, Zion split push. Now he can solo flares. 100%. No problem. Trinity Force 4 kills up. Not a problem at all. And then everybody else sieges. Disengage from Gragas, wave clear from Orianna, and then you shield the Tristana for even more turret damage.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't even think
this
of
is
the
going to go
Storm
down
Shield.
in one wave.
Didn't even think of the Storm Shield. Great call, Cyrene. Aframu just giving huge damage over to Doublelift to take down these turrets. Zion Spartan take down the champions. It seems to be working out quite well for them. See this one more time. Trashy in. Doublelift actually was in a pretty bad spot to start this off, but nobody was able to focus him after that.
Well, the Monsoon from Afromu made it so they couldn't even follow up on it. And Zion Spartan's TP, you have to be able to call that is an option in this game. You're keeping each other's timers. Flares, he's dead, but he still has to warn, don't make a play across the map. Trashy immediately goes in and tries to make a play. They get a turret for all of this, 3-1 in turrets, but they're still down 5 kills and a lot of gold. They have the AP Ezreal.
That's right.
That's the good thing here for NME. But they're up against a 4-0 Fizz.
Oh dear.
And the rest of CLG. Oh!
Huzzah!
So it happens. You throw that shield onto the Tristana. The AD scaling on that ability is crazy.
That was pretty big. They're going to just keep doing this. Another turret gets dropped down. There's 1, 2, 3 on the outside, which also provides a surge of gold to counter Logic Gaming. We've probably already gone back and spent most of that after that top lane fight just occurred. A minute and a half on to the Dragon, so we're going to wait a second before we get some more wards out and start to get the coverage on the side of CLG. 6-0 here as we start off this game. Definitely trying to shut down enemy real early. Triforce being finished up on a Zion Spartan, definitely giving him a lot of confidence here as he just roams around wherever he wants. And a frozen heart rush by Flares. He's just trying to shut down Zion Spartan and double lift.
Flares,
not so much Zion.
Flares is still going to get run over here.
Right.
There's all that physical damage that he has to worry about, as well as the magic damage. So the Frozen Heart helps him a little bit. It helps him with the attack speed of Zion. But he also doesn't have any boots. And Zion already has boots too. Yeah. And a Trinity Force. Zion is just a speedy fish. He can go upstream if he wants. He's going to go straight after Nautilus. No problem at all. Yeah.
Where'd that go? That's all Smithies. You know, it's starting to get tough when all of your resources are getting denied. This is exactly what you're talking about. It doesn't have to even be a teleport this time, though, Zyrene. Counter Logic Gaming almost able to walk themselves into the exact spot they need. There's the disperse from the explosive cast onto Body Drop. Oh, there's the dissonance to take down Trashy. Gonna keep going. Double Lift can't get another kill on that one to say King Me and jump in for another. And they decide to back off. 6 seconds on the Dragon. Perfect timing to get that fight to go their way as well.
CLG's doing a great job of getting those outer ring of turrets, and then they wrap around. They use the fact that it is a Fizz, and you have to flank with this champion to get these great engages, and it's immediately executed on perfectly. Pick up a Dragon here for CLG. 8-0 in kills, 2-1 in Dragons after this. And this AP Ezreal is not mine just yet. And Fizz, he stole the blue buff. Zion Spartan's just taking over this game on this Fizz.
So Red was just taken. We saw Dominate do that. And like, yeah, we said it in Champion Select. When is this guy going to be able to go kind of ham on his own champion? Gets to do it on Fizz. Little Fish. Going a Little Fish. 20:30 on the clock. Pobelter may actually have to leave this one to the team of NME. They do have the ability to take down turrets semi-fast once they get there.
Yeah.
As long as they don't have any pressure here. It seems to be pushed off. Xmithy walking into quite a bit of free damage. It looks like he's just trying to deter them from the turret, and he succeeds.
Yeah, if he's taking damage and the turret isn't, he's in an okay spot.
I like it.
I'm looking at the itemization here. Double Lift just completed his static shift alongside his IE. Big power spike here for him. But then Aphromoo already has the Aegis to deal with the AP Ezreal. And at the same time, Smithy's on his way to a Righteous Glory. He's very close to completing that item, and that'll help them get to these threats in the backline. But they just have to stack magic resist.
Right. They already have the Aegis.
Athene's on Holy Grail, Aegis. Merc treads on a lot of these members already.
Ready.
CLG's in a great spot to just take over this game already.
Enemy did kind of pigeonhole themselves into that AV a little bit.
Yep.
Hopefully they can start applying that power for Counter Logic Gaming gets the resistances required. Already have a surplus of items compared to the core items over on the side of enemy. So CLG is sitting very pretty right now. Nox going to back. Kept up in CS in his lane. Still pushed back though as the lanes kind of broke out in the team fights.
Hey, you hit your power spikes? Get the Baron. 21-minute Baron here.
That was pretty close.
CLG, you're just going to try to run over this game. It's 9,000 gold lead. They're tired of losing. They're 0-4 in the last 2 weeks. They went from 1st to 5th.
A confidence factor, I think they almost need to run over this game.
Yes.
Get themselves back in the mindset that they can do things like this in games. And definitely a game where they're actually putting up a lot of results without having that early roam game, without having Aphromoo rather be the one to start off everything for the team. Zion Spartan got going with Xmithy, while there was also a few kills in the mid lane, and Double Lift and Aphromoo handled the bot lane mostly.
Well, Zion Spartan also got a solo kill top off of Flares being under the turret.
Yeah.
That really set the tone of the entire game, because then it just became, oh, this is the lane that we need to gank.
What an early Baron going in for Counter Logic Gaming here. The confidence shining through within their plays, pretty much just a tell of how they feel right now. Bottom lane is the focus. It doesn't look like they have too much coverage across the map, but it's the split. They don't even want to catch anybody in the jungle. They're going for what they're focused on right now.
Double Lift. Hitting that turret down
so
quickly.
Man. Explosive charge.
Yeah.
No mercy on turrets, especially this late in the game. Got to remember that Fizz. Body Drop looks like they want to get a big fight onto here. Flares does have knowledge of that top lane, so he's going to go over and try to stop Zion Spartan. But all he can do here is pretty much clear the wave. Zion should eventually be able to get hits on this turret and not worry about too much.
Yeah. Double lift getting a shield from Aframu increases.
Where's he at?
Increases the damage by about 70 to his
300 AD.
To his explosive shot. Yeah, it puts him at about
40.
It puts him at about 300 AD. But it makes his explosive charge do 70 more damage, but that's base, and it goes up by 120% if you hit it 4 times. So Aframu is basically adding 160 damage to his charge when it's on a turret.
There's a true shot barrage. That's actually a lot given up. That says Righteous Glory, and that says we can fight Otter right back. That was delivered on a silver platter right there. Body drop taking shots from Doublelift. Has to put up the shield. They're on to the turret now. A teleport from the mid lane to the bot lane. Goes onto the inhibitor minion, which means it's going to actually stay alive longer. A bit of a play there from Zion Spartan. He chose actually not to go for the teleport either. It's just for a bit of team help.
Ooh. Pole Belter's online as well. CLG has just stopped the scaling of NME and immediately cut it off and put it in their own favor.
Very big moves.
CLG's looking like these 2 weeks haven't affected them at all.
That's what needs to happen here at the end of the list. Like you said, Zyrene, NME is the team that is right under CLG, biting at their heels, looking to close that gap of wins. Counter Logic Gaming really wants to put a nice buffer between them and any of the teams towards the bottom of the table. Here, looks like they are going to do so quite quickly. Depth charge onto Pole Belter. Smithy makes sure to dodge it, so there actually is no retaliation.
Flares.
Now there is. That's going to be the Monsoon, or rather Howling Gale. Going to get them all mixed up this game. There's the Monsoon. Was just waiting for it. Calling the future shots. But a back and forth, really. These are ultimates being wasted by enemy. Once the ultimates are down, CLG feels perfectly fine to go in, perfectly fine to delete the squad of enemy. And Doublelift says king me, but he goes down, jumps right off the board on that one. A shutdown for Trashy, as you can see there on the screen, shoving the sword into the ground. And it looks like they're going to be forced to back off there without their double lift.
The one death of the game is double lift for CLG. Jumping into the back line. He wanted more, but there's still an AP Ezreal. AP Ezreal does do a lot of damage. Oh wait, he's going to hit him at the fountain. Up, 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 up. Ah.
All right, pushing back a little bit. See how this fight started and went.
This just looks...
Again, they have the pincer.
Yeah, this looks like frustration. The fact that they have so much control. Players knocked in, knocked up, destroyed. And then just the follow-up fight here. Here comes Zion from the side. Everybody's focused on the right side. Otter basically walks into him. That's how much vision control they have and how much enemy doesn't have. And this Fizz flank is working out perfectly. This is how you play Fizz. That's not how you play Tristana, though.
That's the second or third time that he has come, that Zion Spartan's come from the left side. Right? When you're in that position in the mid lane, it almost feels weird to not have wards on each shoulder, on your left and your right. But the tunneling right now that CLG has put enemy into has just kind of broke those fundamentals, and they're trying to stop the fights, but forgetting to ward, and that helps quite a bit.
Exactly, and even when you just look at the inventory items, Trashy doesn't have a sight stone,
so
their vision control is going to be
very
suffer.
difficult.
But at the same time, Smithy doesn't have one either. But everybody's purchasing wards. They're going back and forth on this. There's upgraded Trinket onto Inox, so it's not a big deal that they don't have a sight stone in comparison to what Xfinity has, because he doesn't have one either. So all in all, it's just CLG have those turrets taken, and they get to shove those waves up and get to shove their line of turrets up as well. Now, Zion Spartan's going to go top. His teleport is almost up. He has all the tools that he needs, and a Blade of the Ruined King to boot.
Banner of command coming from Aframu.
Nobody can deal with Zion Spartan right now, and they're just going to keep sieging. The Tristana, the Demolition Squad, the 4-man unit that I talked about, where this is going to be off on the side splitting, that's just going to happen over and over and over again here. Banner of Command did the minion.
Got that going.
They do.
AP is going to be a little tough to take that one down. Still have a bit of attack damage to thread in there, but they can't really do too much. Smited already to try and get it to double smite. One easy way to do it, back to the line. Inox displaced backwards. That's body drop instantly hitting the ground. Inox doesn't have a chance to breathe on this one either. Flares is the next target. The explosive charge with enough damage from Pole Belter drops him to the ground, and 3 fall instantly as Counter Logic Gaming runs into the base here of NME and looks for the Nexus.
It looks like CLG want to take down NME and bounce back from their 0-4 weeks.
They could have done it without any kills. Unfortunately, Doublelift had to jump forward, got himself killed. Why did Doublelift try to dunk? 15-1, Counter Logic Gaming takes down NME.
You should never try to dunk.
Don't dunk. He tried to dunk, hurt himself. But still, the victory. Counter Logic Gaming very happy, especially with that one. Any laid out plans definitely came to fruition in that game. Hopefully they can get it to happen once they, go from behind, because that's a completely different story. Teams can do well from in the lead, but being from behind is the real test. We'll see if CLG still has that if the time comes.
They give themselves that buffer over NME, though. Now 2-0 over NME, so they own the tiebreaker, and it increases their chances of making playoff. CLG, though, looking into reverse the tilt coming into this week.
Right.
And it seems like they're getting some momentum under them off of this win. NME, though, they were coming in with the idea that they're back. This is the team that's looking on the rise, and they only get 1 kill and 1 assist in this whole game.
Top lane Fizz coming in from Zion Spartan here into the graphs. See what the deal was. Still, Inox 22.8 thousand damage, so he had the highest. Right behind him was Tristana at 14. So even with the plays that Zion Spartan was making at 9.6 thousand damage, they were the right plays to be made. They were the finishers, they were the ones that needed to happen, and having all that damage usually means you did pretty well, but sometimes even if you don't have a lot, you were making the right plays, and Zion Spartan was making the right plays.
Yeah, and even when you look at the gold graph, or the damage graph, Inox has this gigantic bar at 22,000.
Right.
Highest in the game. But then the next highest champion on his team is actually Nautilus at 6,500. Corki is typically a poke champion that gets inflated numbers just from throwing R's out over and over again.
Yeah.
And Otter did 60, 70 less damage.
For sure.
Than Flares did. So only 6,500 damage out of the Corki. I don't like the Corki pick at all. Personally, I feel like they should have had a carry. They lost lane anyway.
A lot of AP was kind of tied into that, saying, what do we need as poke? I mean, what if you even threw a kind of a Varus in there somewhere instead, right? Not your AD carry. I mean, we've actually seen teams try to do that, right? Bring out the Varus, put the Ezreal in the mid lane, but for this... Dig. Yes, it was Dignitas. I was trying to remember. Thank you. Good brain. But yeah, seeing that, that's
the best conflict.
Kind of going in there saying, we want this champion select. We want these champions. We're going to pick Ezreal blue side, even if it's a blind. And you're almost kind of setting your own ways right away. Yeah,
you're definitely setting your own ways. And at that point, the enemy team gets to do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, is people are all about this AP Ezreal. We're seeing it lose a lot today because it's very counterable. There are weaknesses to this champion. You just can't be passive early game against it, or else you're going to fall off, and you have to have at least 1 or 2 options in your draft that actually allow you to fight it and start fights on it. And then you're just 100% good to go. It's much easier to counter this AP Ezreal than was originally thought.
Absolutely. You just got to figure it out. It seems like it takes a few weeks, and everybody's like, oh, what was that about? For more on CLG's methodical win,